Hello there, Star Wars fans, for those of you that are returning.
How you doing, you old pirate? So good to see you.
And for those of you that are new here.
Well, took you long enough.
Welcome to the channel, everybody. Let's get into today's video. Today we're going to be going over the 5th installment of the audiobook, Clone Wars Stories of the Light and the Dark. It takes some of the most impactful Clone Wars episodes and gives them to us in a direct POV of certain characters. It's been awesome to hear so far, and I do have a playlist on my channel of them if you want to go see the others. It's been fun. I highly recommend it. And today we're going to be going over Captain Rex and his point of view of the Battle of Umbara. And before we do, please do subscribe, please leave a like if you enjoy the content. It helps a ton. It's the easiest and best way to support my channel as we continue to grow. It's a wonderful daily Star Wars community that I'm really enjoying, so please subscribe, and let's get into this Star Wars The Clone Wars excellent lore. Alright, so, Captain Rex, the captain of the 501st, and the right-hand man to General Anakin Skywalker, extremely loyal to the Jedi and the Republic. And why wouldn't he be? He's serving under the selfless Jedi, Anakin Skywalker. He leads at the front of assaults and cares about his men, as Rex thinks all Jedi should, and all Jedi do. Rex has no reason to doubt the Jedi, nor the Republic, up to this point. And this was until a new general entered. General Pong Krell, the interim leader of the 501st, while Anakin was called to Coruscant. His reputation as a war hero preceded him, but Rex had never dealt with a Jedi anything like him. And here's a clip where Rex met him and began to really doubt him and really question him. But up to this point, Rex was no one to disobey an order. He was going to follow orders. That's what he was supposed to do. Here's the clip.
Don't worry, sir. We'll have this city under Republic control by the time you're back.
Skywalker smiled. Master Krell, this is Rex, my first in command. You won't find a finer or more loyal trooper. Good to hear that, Krell said. I wish you well, Skywalker. Rex was determined to make the best of the situation.
Your reputation precedes you, General,
He said to Krell.
It's an honor to be serving you.
Krell's response took him aback. I find it interesting that a clone recognizes the value of honor. His voice sharpened. Stand at attention when I address you. Rex did so, cursing himself. General Skywalker had never been so harsh, but he wasn't serving under Skywalker now. Your flattery is noted, Krell went on, but it will not be rewarded. There's a reason my command is so effective. It's because I do things by the book. Have all platoons ready to move out immediately. Rex hadn't intended flattery, but he wouldn't have dreamed of arguing with the general.
Rex wasn't used to this treatment at all, but he would not dream of arguing with the general. Up to this point in the war, he'd been with Skywalker and Kenobi, been able to follow them, not blindly, but knowing that they wouldn't just lead him blindly to his death. It was perhaps two of the kindest, most honorable Jedi that treated the clones, treated their men with the utmost respect. But now, he had to follow Krell's suicide missions, and he had to convince his men to do the same. He struggled with this internally, programmed to follow orders no matter what. But the conflict, there were seeds of doubt now, seeds of conflict within him, and these would really start to rise, especially after Krell ordered another full frontal assault, this time directly into the missiles of the Umbarans. The clones around Rex were discontent, but Rex, he had to follow orders, and he had to get his men to follow orders. He had to. Here's the clip of what that sounds like.
Orders called for another frontal assault, this time in the face of missiles. The discontent among Rex's troops grew.
We won't make it,
Five said.
I've tried to reason with him. Those are the orders.
Rex reminded him. Jesse had objections too.
Another suicide mission? The capital is too well armed. You're all overreacting,
Dogma said flatly.
General Krell knows what he's doing. Do you really think he doesn't care if he loses men?
Men? Rex thought. Krell had made it clear what he thought of the difference between clones and men.
His desire for victory has blinded him to the fact that there are lives at stake.
Jesse responded.
Look at his casualties. He has no respect for us.
Fives said.
I don't agree with him either,
Rex said to quell the argument.
but I don't have a better plan.
But Fives did.
So Rex followed the orders, but it was not what he wanted to do. The conflict inside of him continued to grow, but General Krell, he was the general. He was the Jedi. Rex had to listen. There was a clear order of things here. So listen he did. And the casualties came, as Rex and the clones knew that they would. And what followed next would be labeled as treasonous for the clones. But it was what needed to be done to win the battle. Something that would have been labeled as heroism by Skywalker, by Kenobi, by Ahsoka, any of the Jedi that Rex followed up to this time, except for Pong Krell. At this time, during this battle, when the clones were clearly losing, Jesse, Fives, and Hardcase, they disobeyed Rex, they disobeyed Krell to do what they knew had to be done. They'd gone on a secret mission to take out the supply ship for the Umbarans, a mission that had worked, actually, and when they arrived, they'd done exactly what the Republic had needed. But it was against orders. Only Jesse and Fives had returned. Hardcase had sacrificed himself for victory, and the three should have been labeled as heroes. Instead, they were traitors. General Krell heard about this and accused them of treason, set to be executed immediately. This was teetering on the breaking point for Rex, but yet he was not there. He couldn't execute the men himself, so he assigned Dogma to be the executing leader. And what transpired next was exactly what Rex needed, and we'll hear that right now.
Fives and Jesse, their backs to the wall, stared at him. I'll take that as a no, Dogma said. Ready weapons! The squad cocked their rifles. Aim! They aimed. Wait! Fives cried out. The General is making a mistake. No clone should have to go out this way. We're loyal soldiers. We follow orders. But we aren't unthinking droids. We are men. We must be trusted to make the right decisions, especially when the orders we're given are wrong. Dogma was unmoved. Fire! Rifle blasts scorched the air and hit the wall behind Fives and Jesse. Each shot had gone wide. What happened? Dogma demanded. As one, the squad dropped their rifles. Rex couldn't hide his relief. They're doing the right thing, Dogma, he said. It had taken this to help him see that. If this is how soldiers are rewarded for heroism, then one day every man in this battalion may face a similar fate. Take off their binders. A strange lightness filled his chest. He was disobeying orders. He should have done it earlier.
Rex had disobeyed orders. Jesse and Fives were placed in the brig, and the Battle of Umbara was set to conclude. Although Krell did not like this, he still had orders for his men here. Rex and his men were ordered to launch an assault on the Umbarans who were coming at them, and who were likely to be disguised as clones. And that's how it went down. Rex and his men engaged the enemy, disguised as their brothers, disguised as clones. But Rex took one down, and he lifted the helmet of the clone trooper. And what he found was not an Umbaran, but rather a brother, a fellow clone. Rex and the 501st were shooting clone troopers. They discovered this, and they all took off their helmets, helping each other out. And at this point, they didn't even think to question Krell. Rather, he was to be arrested immediately. They knew he was a traitor. They knew he set them up. After some time, Rex and the 501st infiltrated Krell's room, and they went at him, trying to capture him. Krell got away for a little bit, but these clones were professionals. Rex and the 501st were able to capture Krell, bringing him into the prison. And Rex now was aiming to execute him, knowing that if Krell escaped, he would go to the Separatists and give them all the information the Separatists needed to gain a huge advantage in the war. Rex was to execute him, but he couldn't do it. And instead, Dogma stepped in and shot down Krell. The clone who'd been loyal to the end saw now how traitorous Krell was, and he wouldn't stand for it. Dogma shot him dead, and this whole experience put a new perspective on the entire war for Rex. Everything was changing. What was he really doing?
Afterward, Rex observed as troopers escorted Dogma under arrest to a gunship. They exchanged quiet nods. Rex appreciated what Dogma had done, even if he had to suffer the consequences. Fives approached him.
General Kenobi's battalions have routed the last Umbarans, and we've secured all sectors. We did it. We took Umbara.
Rex gazed beyond him.
What's the point of all this? Why?
Fives shrugged.
I don't know, sir. I don't think anybody does. But I do know that someday, this war is going to end.
Rex's disquiet was not so easily dismissed.
Then what? We're soldiers. What happens to us then?
Fives had no answer. Together they watched as the gunship carrying Dogma flew off.